Hey there, everybody. My name is Jennifer Clark, and I'm going live here on YouTube, Facebook, and all across our platforms. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold, but I am pushing through it, and hopefully it gets better in a moment, in a couple days. That I'm coming on live to talk to you about how to make money online with print on demand and also starting a Zazzle store. So if you don't know who I am Jennifer Clark. I work with my mother, Elka Clark, and we've been on the platform called Zazzle for the last 14 years. And please do excuse me, I'm a little bit sick. Getting better though, on the mend. And I've been on the platform, so is Elka, for 14 years, and we now mentor and teach people how to make money online through Zazzle and teaching people how to make profitable businesses online with that platform. And so I want to come on today. We're doing a little impromptu training here, and I'm going to be talking to you about earning money with POD and then also starting your Zazzle store and understanding the importance of your Zazzle store and how when you first start out, the first initial action steps that you take are extremely important, and that will determine, let's say, what you do going forward in the future. If you're new here, say hello. As I mentioned, I'm on Facebook and I'm on YouTube, on a bunch of different platforms. But if you say in the chat, hi, I can see your comments here and I will definitely respond to you. So welcome. Today's little session right now is going to be talking about how to start a Zazzle store and the importance of starting it right away at the beginning in the proper way. Many of my clients who have come to us when they join our Profit by Design Academy, which is our signature course and coaching program, they have either started out brand new and or they have started out a long time ago, but come into our program with a store that has been built up for many years and they are struggling and overwhelmed and they can't see sales. And they are also under the impression that, certain things need to be done to make money on Zazzle, but then they don't see the results because they are putting a lot of effort in and also working very hard, long hours, but they're not seeing the results in terms of earnings and also sales. Hello, welcome. Hi, everybody. As I said, my name is Jennifer Clark, and I'm a Zazzle expansion expert. Please bear with me. I am not feeling the greatest right now. I am very much sick, but I am coming online to talk to you for a moment. So starting your Zazzle store is extremely important. And in our Profit by Design Academy, we teach 5 strategies. So the first one is establish. The second one is create. The third one is announce. Fourth is align, and the fifth one is analyze. And the first one is called establish because that means establishing your Zazzle store in the proper way. And when you first started out on Zazzle, you might not understand how to build up your brand and or how to build up your business on the platform so that you can organize everything in the back end and then move through the other 4 strategies, which are create, announce, align, and analyze. And establishing your store and establishing your brand is the most important thing, obviously, to first start out with. And that's why we teach that as our first strategy. And it's because you want to understand how to actually create everything properly on Zazzle and then also understand where you're going in terms of your niche and also your avatar and your clientele you're going to, let's say, cater to and sell products to. So starting your Zazzle store is very important, as I said, because when most people come onto Zazzle, they think that they can just start a store and then do anything that they want and or post a lot of products for sale and or just post products in a whole bunch of different niches and try and figure out what works for them. But establishing the whole foundations of your business is extremely important, because if you don't do that properly, you can't move forward, and or you are either making, let's say, non-intentional action steps and taking actions in your business that will hinder your effects in the future. And also you might have to go back and redo certain things to build up your brand and also build up your Zazzle store in the future. And that takes up a lot of time. I have many clients that have been with me and they've been on Zazzle on their own for about maybe even 5 to 10 years. And they have struggled very, very hard because when they first set up their Zazzle business, it was not what they intended to. And it was just something that they started because they thought that they could make money online and they didn't really actually think about it as a business in the first part. And that's what we teach people is that we want to make money online. Obviously, we want to create a passive online income. Sorry, I have to keep drinking. My throat is very sore. To create a passive online income. But when you first start out, and if it's just because you want to make money online, you are actually not thinking about, let's say, the end goal and what might be going forward. And so when we actually treat our business as a business and not only just as like, let's say, a fun game and or trying to make money and dabbling into certain things and seeing if it'll work, this means that now you're actually being prepared and you're starting out with ground zero, but building those proper foundations to move forward and go upwards and above and beyond. You can never make any income claim statements. But when people come into our programs and they understand that the first step of creating and starting their Zazzle store on that proper foundation of the first strategy that we teach in the Profit by Design Academy means that they are able to now actually grow and move things forward without backtracking. And I can share this from my own personal experience because when I first started out on Zazzle, I didn't actually think of my end goal. I didn't think years in the future. I did not think about my income earnings and my goals that I wanted to reach, let's say potentially 14 years later, which now I've been working on Zazzle and still earning money on that platform. When I first started out, it was just a game, let's say to me, and or an opportunity for me to make money on the platform and also passively while I was still in university and studying and doing other things. But if you're really wanting to build up a Zazzle business and make it profitable for you and also have that opportunity for income coming in the future, many years to come forward, you're starting out from ground zero, but you really want to make sure that that beginning is the perfect and most like best way that you're able to build that business up. Because if you don't do those things properly going forward, you're going to be backtracking and actually losing time. So that means finding out what your avatar is, finding out what your perfect customer clientele is, what they like, how you can best serve customer service and also reach that potential customer and serve them. And then what I mean by serve them is putting those products into your store where people will come to your store and actually want to buy those products because it's giving them something in addition to their life. So like I sell wedding invitations, for example. So I know I need to have certain wedding suites in my store to make sure that I am serving my clientele base and the people that come to my Zazzle store. And then also my branding. So the name of my store and also how I have built up my store in terms of my categories and my banners and also my marketing. Right. And when we first start out on Zazzle, sometimes we don't think that we are, I'm going to say almost worthy enough of creating our own brand because we don't value ourselves as much as, let's say, a high-end designer who sells in physical retail stores and or online on other platforms. But when you first start out on Zazzle, you should have that courage and that inspiration to understand that you are able to create your own brand and create your own pieces of artwork, I want to almost say, to sell and serve that customer. And so you have to be very confident in your style. You have to be very confident in what you're offering. You have to be very confident in the products that you're providing and also that store setup to help market yourself even more. And so when you first start out on Zazzle, I really want you to think about what you are going to name yourself, whether that be a brand in general, like an all-exclusive brand overall, and or if you're going to market yourself as the artist. And what I mean by that is taking another drink, very dry. What I mean by that is if you are an artist, let's say a photographer or an artist like a painter, and like you do watercolor, abstract abstract art with oil or watercolor, as I said, and or different mediums. So there's two different options for you. Are you the brand as a brand? For example, my store is called Antique Chandelier. I have many other stores underneath other different names, but that's my main one that I like to promote and tell people online that I do. And so my store is actually a whole being. Let's say, pretend you are like Walmart and or Pottery Barn and or something else that's like a brand name that you know that you can go to and you can have that quality of product and then also the style of product. But everything is very cohesive based on the designs and also the products, right? Pottery Barn has a certain standard of the clients that they bring in and also has a certain standard of the products that they offer. But then let's say we have another person and or designer, and I'm going to throw out, let's say, Louis Vuitton. Even though Louis Vuitton is a brand name that is much more on a higher level in terms of retail and they cover a whole different wide range of products, when you go to Louis Vuitton, you're going to get that quality and then also that artistic added to it, right? The brand name with the logos and the monograms and everything. So I've worked with many clients who are watercolor artists and or photographers and people who they are selling their art because they've created it and they are the designer. So they are selling that artwork in their store. I have also worked with many clients who have decided to create, let's say, a brand name where the person, the face of the brand is much more in the back end, but it's the style and the products and the quality that comes out of it. And so when you're first starting on Zazzle and you're opening up your Zazzle store, I want you to really think about where you are in those two things. Are you the artist and you're the face of the products? And or are you the designer behind the back end, but the brand is what's showing to your clientele? Okay. Because a lot of people, they get confused on when they need to actually make that switch and or which they should present themselves. And then the next thing that I really want you to think about is, who are you serving? Is it your clientele in terms of an avatar where you've really pinpointed it down in terms of, let's say, a woman in her mid 30s who really wants to get married and then have children and then build a home and grow up and live her life and have that sort of fluctuation and also that transition through all of those life experiences. That's my avatar, because I start out with somebody who wants to buy a wedding invitation and then I sell them baby invitations and or shower invitations and or engagement party and then graduation and then also home decor. But I understand my perfect clientele in terms of the process of people and how they will obviously live their lives, right? So I've really pinpointed my avatar and the person that I cater to. If you are an artist and you are catering more to people who maybe want to just buy really great art pieces for their house or home decor, and or they are very specific to a certain art style, then that is your avatar as well, in terms of that you're catering to those people. I also have clients who are using their Zazzle store for merchandise where, for example, it's a really, really tiny niche. I have one client who has done a whole bunch of knitting products. She was a knitter in her community and had a class where she would help people knit and crochet. And she realized that that was a big market for her in that physical community. And she started selling products online for Zazzle and on Zazzle for that knitting and crocheting community. And so she was not technically the brand, but she pictured what her avatar would look like and then is also serving that avatar. So she would create designs that would be very specific to knitting and crocheting, and then also pick the products that were very specific to knitting and crocheting. It would be tote bags where they could put all of their knitting supplies in. It would be maybe even t-shirts and or mugs and like fun sayings about knitting and crocheting. And so whether you are in the wedding market, whether you're in graduation, whether you're in the holiday season, and or if you're just all on like an average base or very niched down, you really want to pinpoint what you're doing to help those clientele reach you, because your niche is extremely specific and also your brand very much counts. So when you start a store on Zazzle, you want to make sure that you understand where you're going. Because if you have a store that is just like, I almost want to say like a dollar store where everything is all over the place, you're offering a million different things all over the place in terms of your styles as well, and it doesn't have a cohesive look to it and or brand to it, then you might be making sales, yes, and I'm never going to say that there's no possibility for you, but when people come to your store, then they're not really going to understand the cohesiveness of things. And so I really want you to think about where you're going and what is your intention to move forward and serve that specific customer. And that all breaks down into also your username and your URL on Zazzle. So pick a specific name that makes sense with what you are selling, right? If you're creating that brand overall, which could be a mishmash of things, but your style is, let's say, cohesive by your artwork and or the fluidity of how everything kind of coincides together, and or if you are the artist and you are selling your artwork specifically and you're using Zazzle as a fulfillment center to sell your artwork and sell your brand as the artist. Excuse me. And if you're just popping on here, I am sick and I'm very sorry that I'm coughing, but I want to make sure that you understand that starting your Zazzle store is very important, because you can obviously change your store name. And that means that on Zazzle, when somebody searches you, you have a different store name, but your URL never changes. So it will be zazzle.com/store/whatever you've chosen in the beginning. And one recommendation too that I have from many people who have asked me questions is I always concentrate on one store and make sure that that store is cohesive with your brand and your designs. Okay. So some people ask me, oh, should I open up a wedding store? And maybe should I open up then a different store for business? And should I open up another store for, let's say, even politics and or graduation? Have multiple different stores, but concentrate on one theme in terms of selling things to that clientele. And my recommendation is absolutely not, because on Zazzle, it's very hard to keep up, first of all, adding products to your store and making sure that all of those products are intentional. And then also that you are making sure that you see all of your results in terms of analyzing your views and your sales and how you can cross market and promote within that store. And if you're jumping between 2 or 3 or 4 different stores, which I've had people do as clients, it's very hard to keep one store up and then also keep another like 5 different stores up as well. I have multiple different stores, but that's my experience, and I have learned how I can use the system on Zazzle and the Zazzle marketplace to do different products and also promote different, let's say, to different clientele. But when you're first starting out, you really need to only focus on one store. And it does not mean that one store can only have wedding or only have graduation. If you are looking to serve all of those different people and those clientele within, let's say, the wedding market, the graduation market, the holiday market, St. Patrick's Day, evergreen, let's say just random, things here and there. What brings your store together is your style and also your brand. And that's why I want to know if you are an artist and or if, like, let's say I'm a painter, so I'm going to use all my paintings and everything on my products. So that brings my store cohesively together, whether that be in many different niches and or different products. And or if I have a brand where my style is more whimsical, it's more modern, it's more minimalistic, it's much more abstract, let's say, but I'm still serving those clientele with that cohesiveness of my products and also my designs too. And at the end of the day as well, I'm sorry, I am so dry. I'm very sick too. At the end of the day, too, when you have your Zazzle store, if you create it properly from the beginning and you create your categories and you organize everything properly, when someone comes to your store, they can actually navigate very easily within your categories and collections to see what you offer them. And that cohesiveness, whether that be through your brand identity and or your design identity, then they'll be able to find things that they want. Clients come to your store, whether that be that you've externally promoted your products on Pinterest or on social media, let's say Instagram or YouTube or wherever. And so they might have found an external link that has brought them to your store. So they are looking for that product in particular because they were visually attracted to your products. Or they're looking for products on the Zazzle marketplace and they search randomly something that your product pops up and they see it in the Zazzle marketplace. So at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're promoting based on your product type, style, and the product, actual product, let's say a mug versus a blanket, etc., based on your titles and tags as well. And so when somebody comes to your Zazzle store, if everything looks really cohesive at the beginning on the front homepage, then that's really great. And you don't have to worry about if you have business related products and or wedding related products and if it's going to clash, because their style and your brand will follow through for everything. Okay. And so one thing is that when you're first starting out a Zazzle store, think about your name, whether your name will be the brand in total. Let's say you pick like a random thing, like I did Antique Chandelier, which is my brand name, and people don't know me as the artist except when they see my profile picture. But it's me encompassing everything underneath that brand name. And or I could do Jennifer Clark Designs. And then Jennifer Clark Designs would be more because I am the artist and I provide more of an artistic view of my own personal brand and doing all of that, right? So those are the two different things when you're picking out your Zazzle store name. And then when you start your store, don't be afraid to have multiple different product types and also different styles in your store, because everything can also work cohesively. But the most important thing that you need to understand is that you need to see where your perfect clientele is and who is your avatar and what you are serving the customer and or potential client. And that's where everything kind of meshes all together. And I know that this is the first strategy out of the 5 strategies that we have in the Profit by Design Academy, but it's the most important to, let's say, skyrocket your not sales, but skyrocket your business, because at that point in time, you are very solid on your foundations and you know where things can go in the future. Okay. Because I've had many clients who have started out a store, and this is one of my fun stories that I had when I was younger, where my first Zazzle store was named Jen Clark 78. And it was like more of a username than anything. And then I also had other stores where it was much more of a very vague whatever. It was just because I thought that I was making basically a username on Zazzle. Obviously, things have progressed since then and everything has been, moved forward, and we're a little bit more savvy in terms of how we create our businesses. But at the same point in time, it is very important for you to understand how monumental the beginning of your Zazzle store is and how you build it up properly, and how you can also be very confident in yourself that you're able to have multiple different small-ish niches underneath your Zazzle store, and it doesn't have to be only concentrated on one thing and one person. If you have your perfect avatar and you understand that this person will do that transition through life, it is flexible and fluid and it keeps changing. And then also going forward, when you're creating your Zazzle store, let's say you open your Zazzle store today, but then 3 months from now, you realize that you have other interests and or you wanted to get into other niches and or you wanted to do different styles or different types of things. It is still okay to do that. You don't have to worry about now that you need to open up another store because everything will clash. It's just that your brand keeps evolving and you as a designer also keep evolving. And when you're on Zazzle for many years, you understand what sells and what does not sell. And you understand what you might be able to take advantage of in terms of your products and or designs, or there might be trends. It's very interesting in terms of the flow and ebb of everything, where you have one solid thing in your mind, And it does not always have to be that way, but you definitely have to make sure that that is the foundations of where you're building your business. And then you can always grow from that and move from that. Your store name is extremely important. And then also you want to make sure that you focus on one store, because there are a lot of opportunities, obviously, for you to open up multiple different stores, but there is a lot of work that goes into each store in terms of, as I said, the branding. You have your profile picture, you have your banners, you have your collections, you have your media files, you have your descriptions, your titles and tags, you have everything that needs to be really cohesive and concise, and your categories in the back end. And if you have multiple different stores where you're not paying attention to one of them, and or they are not as well upkept, let's say, it gets very overwhelming, let's say mentally, for you as a designer. And then also when a client comes to your store, it doesn't seem credible because you do not have very much activity and things going on in your store. So don't worry about having multiple stores about all of these different things, but your first store that you start out, and even if I've inspired you to start a new store right now and actually start from ground zero, then focus on that one, but be very intentional about what you're doing and the products that you're posting, and then your niche, and then also your avatar who you're serving, because it is very important. And then that will carry through your Zazzle career for sure. Um, and yeah, I have had multiple people who have told me that they've just kind of dropped off certain stores and they can't have the time to do it, and or they mix them up, and or when you're going forward, you don't realize the products that you've actually made, and or that you've taken advantage of certain things. And if you're in our Profit by Design Academy, you know what I mean. But matching products, and then also corresponding products. And then when you get to that fifth step, which is analyze, you're understanding who's seeing your certain products and the designs that are being seen and also searched for. And you can really work your way through all of that and then cross promote within the internal marketplace with collections for sure. So starting your Zazzle store is the most important thing. And if you're watching with me, I have some people who I'm going to respond to in the chat right now. We've got a lot of people on live, which is awesome. And I'm going to head out because I've almost been on for a half an hour. But the most important thing is that you understand that you can create a Zazzle store, and then also have that opportunity to play around with things, right? And make things that are different, and then change your brand. You have no idea how many times I have changed my branding style, whether that be rustic, minimalistic, or whatnot, but I chose to be shown as a designer within a brand. So as I said, my store is Antique Chandelier, and it's not Antique Chandelier based on one specific thing. It is based on how I've morphed things together, and I have gone with the trends, and I utilize all of what I've learned. My store has been completely changed in the last couple of years. And so don't give up and don't overwhelm yourself. Create your store intentionally from the first get-go, and then you are able to move and, as I said, ebb and flow and figure out what's going on with the marketplace, seasonality, evergreen, seasonal, all that stuff. And anyone who does not know and is just new and watching, you can start a Zazzle store for free today, but be very intentional when you set up your Zazzle store and the name and your brand and what you want to do with it, because we're not just in the little leagues anymore. We are playing the big game where we are creating businesses online and we want to make money online, right? It's not just for fun. It's something that is going to give us a livelihood and hopefully pay for us going forward many more years in the future. I can never guarantee how much money you're going to make, and I don't know how long Zazzle is going to be, let's say, continuing on, but as long as Zazzle lives, I am still making money passively because I set my business up and I am still maintaining it. And I am able to say that I have a profitable Zazzle business that sometimes I don't touch for maybe a year, and I'm still making money online each and every month because I did it intentionally and I set it up properly using our 5 strategies, which is in the Profit by Design Academy. And we teach those to our clients. It gives you many opportunities to travel, to be with friends, to be with family, to do things that you possibly could not have done if you're working a 9-to-5 job. And the hours put in do not equal the money that you receive. And I know that might sound a little bit odd and weird, but if you put the hours in now, you are able to possibly reap the benefits of it in the future. I've spent maybe 5 hours on one design and or a collection or a suite 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, those 5 hours are still making me money today, which is amazing because I still sell designs that I made in 2011 and 2012. And so I want that for all of my clients. I want that for everybody who is here on our free platforms. I want that for everybody. And this is why we have created these free programs, these free classes, and our Facebook group, our YouTube channel, our podcast, and why we also sell our courses online to help people understand the more in-depth way to build a Zazzle business. Our Profit by Design Academy is our signature course. And if you're able to join, then you will be part of a community of an amazing group of people who are extremely inspired and extremely inspirational and just having those high vibes. We have weekly calls on Zoom, and I get online with you and I talk about design and also business strategy. And then also you have your own community in that platform as well, and also recorded modules. And then we also have our our 7-figure seller mastermind as well, which is where people are at that higher level where they're making 5,000 to actually one lady told me that she made $36,000 in 1 month in December. So I have clients who I have definitely helped make a lot of money, and that's earnings. Those are royalties. So $36,000 in 1 month, which is amazing. And it's possible. I'm never going to say that you're able to make it. And as I said, I can never make any income claim statements. And I will never tell you exactly how much money you're going to make. But it is, if you take our programs and also take things seriously and you understand how you can market and serve that clientele, right? Why is somebody buying the product that you are selling? If you can serve them in that particular moment, in that moment of need, and also maybe even cross market or promote your products in other ways. You can create bulk sales, you can create sales and actually have them on multiple different tiers of different things. And you are able to then create a really great base of income based on your product suite if you really maximize your strategic abilities, and then also the way that you've built out your Zazzle program, your Zazzle business. Sorry, I almost said program. Using our Zazzle program, which is the Profit by Design Academy program. And yeah, I would love for everybody to obviously be part of our course. I am going to sign off in a couple minutes, but I just wanted to say our Profit by Design Academy right now, we are doing a promotion where if you buy tonight and come into our Profit by Design Academy program, you get a bonus of an hour hot seat mentoring with me, where you are able to show your store and also have like complete examples of what you want me to either give you advice on, and or if you're just starting out, then I will tell you exactly how you should start out and how you can build your Zazzle business up from ground zero and not waste time. Because the worst thing is where people have been on Zazzle for multiple years and they're not making money and they are frustrated and struggling and overwhelmed. And you have put in a lot of time and effort into your Zazzle business, but you're not seeing the results. And that is why Elka and I have created the Profit by Design Academy coaching program. We have morphed it into something amazing. We've started out in the last couple of years. We've been now mentoring and teaching people for, I think, almost 7 years. And our programs have definitely transformed to cater to our clients in multiple different ways. We've taken really great feedback. We are making it much more in-depth and also very much more personable. And I would love for you to come into our program and join us and get that advice that you need so that you feel comfortable and confident and you can see that transformation in your Zazzle store, because that is the most beneficial thing to me is that I can actually say that I have helped you and helped you understand and created a business for you, or created a business with you with my knowledge and mentoring, because I want to get you out of that step and stage of where you feel overwhelmed and confused and or just extremely frustrated where things aren't working for you. And it's just overcoming certain obstacles and understanding different points of views and getting that mentorship and another perspective, the outside perspective, that will help you understand what might be happening in your store and give you that community too, where you're able to talk and speak to people who are in the Zazzle realm, mm, where you might not actually have that opportunity to, let's say, in your real life. We all work online. We are working on our computers, and sometimes our family members or friends or people in our community don't understand that. And I have been extremely isolated, where I was not being understood by my family and or friends and or people around me. And they told me to keep working at a 9 to 5 job. And I told them that I was working online and I didn't have that support system and those people who actually understood my level of language, let's say, within the Zazzle marketplace. And so we are providing that to you, where you are able to come in, speak to us and speak to our team Clark, speak to our community, and really get that motivation and inspiration that you need. And then also have the idea and the people around you who can support you and give you the answers that you need in a positive community, and positive, and also, let's say, a confidential community where we make you feel safe and be in a good spot. So thank you so much for watching. And as I said, starting your first Zazzle store, people are still online with me. If you're watching the replay, write in the comments and say #replay, reply to this. But starting your first Zazzle store, open up one store. Think about what you want to call the name of your store, because the URL will never change. Think about if you want to be a brand and or the artist. So there's two different things, right? If you want to be unknown but be behind as the designer, and the brand is the brand and the brand is the face of your store, or if you're the artist and you are the face of your store, and it's going to be called something very, like, let's say, as I said, mentioned before, Jennifer Clark Designs. And so Jennifer Clark is the artist and I'm becoming the face of the brand. Then make sure that you have everything really organized in your store with your categories, your collections, with your internal marketing and everything all set up. And then also that you're creating intentional products. And then also that you are creating your store to help sell and serve that specific customer or clientele. So make sure you have your avatar down pat, and then also understand who you are selling to. And then you are also able to, let's say, create an avatar that will ebb and flow with the trends and also what you're feeling within your Zazzle store. So only create one store. Don't create a wedding store. Don't create a business store. Create one store underneath one name so that you can really concentrate on that store and build that up, because it's a lot of work to make multiple stores and then keep them up in the Zazzle marketplace, and then also keep track of all of the products that you're creating within that suite. Okay. All right. Well, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. So Leanne says, I'm an inspiration. Hold on. I'm going to remove this as banners. I'm going to take this away. And thank you, Team Clark. They're part of here right now, and they've posted in the chat. So Leanne says, you're an inspiration, Jen. Thank you for doing this. Even when you haven't felt good, we appreciate you. Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, I am working through my cold. And then if you're an artist that does a lot of different styles, can the collection center around different styles that you do, like the difference between watercolors, chalk art, steampunk designs? Yes, of course. If you are the designer, then you're pulling in all of your designs at once, right? So I have multiple different facets. So does Elka. My mother, Elka Clark, she was in watercolor oil. She was in acrylic. She also did minimalistic, and she did a whole bunch of things, but she was the artist. So Elka can morph and do everything that she wants because she's the one who's producing the artwork. So, Leanne, if you are an artist and you have different styles depending on the time of year, depending on what year it is, all of those things, it does not matter. You don't have to create a different store for all of those different things. You just create different categories in your store and or different collections that showcase all of those different things in terms of your artwork, okay? Um, Got some wonderful Sharon from Costa Rica. Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you for watching. And then for those who are watching in the chat, I'm in the course right now, and it's worth every penny. Wonderful, Leanne. Amazing. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for all of the wonderful feedback. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. And if you are thinking about joining, then please go to elkaclark.com/start and scale. And I'll put that up right now. And as I said, we have a promo going on right now. If you join before midnight PST tonight, today is Thursday, March 23rd, then you are able to get that hour bonus session with me. And then if not, you're always able to enroll in the Profit by Design Academy whenever you want. And then we also have other mini courses and also the 7-Figure Seller Mastermind. So if you're watching this and you're part of the Profit by Design Academy and you want to up level to that next step, then you're always able to email us and also contact us too. So have a wonderful evening, everyone. And thank you for watching. And I will let you all go. Bye.